Thank you. Thanks, Michael. We've talked, I've been up here talking the last several years, and it's interesting the evolution that we've come along with Calix. So let's start with what ALLO is. We started as a small company in a town of 2,000 in western Nebraska, and now we're in Nebraska, Colorado, Arizona. We've always offered the full suite of products: business, governmental, residential. But what's really changing now is what we're doing with it. You know, this is our 20th year. 20 years, wow. And it's changed a ton. You know, we've got some people here from ALLO. Nick Colton's been with us. He's actually starting his 21st year. Most of you know him. He cuts a wide swath here. Allison O'Neill, she's in her 20th year. Wow. Those partners, those teammates have really helped get us to where we're going. Well, we were real focused on, and we still are, you know, we'll spend, I don't know, $350, $400 million this year on capital expansion, greenfield builds and those types of things. Geography is very important. We've got 1,500 people, 750 of them are in our construction organization. But now we've got to move. We've got to start doing things like BARC. Tana Hanna, who's done digital marketing for us for 10 years, she said, I don't want to do postcards. But she has young kids in high school. She said, we're doing BARC. That's really how it works at our place. They tell me what they're doing, not ask. But anyway, and now we're focused on what I've cared about for a long time, and that's market expansion. SmartTown, SmartBiz. Okay, how can we really compare and do unique things with our competitors, or against our competitors, I guess would be a better way of saying it. So I'm excited about where we're going. I was disappointed. I was disappointed in our company. I was disappointed in our industry during COVID. Can you believe kids couldn't connect to learn? Look at the scores that have come out. They're all down. They're all went the wrong way. I'm so excited about working with Calix. You know, we outsourced our R&D to Calix really about 3, 4, 5 years ago, and because we don't have that kind of budget. And they've come up with a way to expand to the schools. And it's pre-K, K through 12, the community colleges and the universities. All the way through, we're creating this mesh so that we can improve learning. Today we cover about 125,000 students in 21 counties. A bunch of towns and a bunch of school districts. So it isn't just going to be local, it's also going to be regional. Our educational service units are going to be able to pull this across the entire area. So it's schools, but then it's neighborhoods. You know, where our kids learn, where our groups work, you know, that becomes in the neighborhoods. It's the events, both in the education, with the schools, as well as music and how we live and how we operate are all starting to change. These are difference makers. These, you know, we compete against the large cable companies. We compete against the large incumbent telcos. But this is how we make a difference. It's a unique offering. By the way, I love saying I disagree with Michael. TV's not dead. Linear TV is still here. We saw that recently with some competitive situations where some people went dark. We've never taken more TV subscribers in the last few months. So what it is it's an entire ecosystem. It's a diverse offering, and it's saying yes to your customers. We got to find a way to say yes and differentiate. So what does this mean? Well, you can make more cash flow the more customers you have. That's important. You know, this was actually my slide, I think, from last year. But now we're moving things up. Yeah, you have to spend a little bit more, but you can make a little bit more. And it's by offering a bunch of things. I hate, it's a bad term, but I hate when people try to disaggregate our revenue streams. What do you make off of TV? What do you make off of broadband? No, what you do is you serve, our purpose is taking care of a customer at such a high level that price isn't a problem and we make more money out of it. That's the result, not the why. Our purpose is to take care of our communities and you make a lot more profit. So now we're moving through these. Guess what? We're involved in all these. You know, the SmartHome, the SmartBiz, the SmartMDU, the SmartTown. We want to create an ecosystem here. We went all in with Calix a few years ago. It wasn't very popular. I mentioned that last couple of years. That wasn't a very popular move on my part because, you know, engineers said, well, let's try this company and this company and this. But we had a vision a long time ago that said, if everybody's connected over a homogenous, ubiquitous solution, what we can do then is provide unique things to each customer and win. And it's worked, mainly because of the development with Calix. We work a lot with them. We work as partners, and it's a true partnership. It's not a vendor relationship anymore. It's great when they can tell us, hey, Brad, you guys could have been better. That's how you know you have a partnership. It's when they can criticize you a little bit, not too much. And now, where are we? When I used to do the models when we were smaller and 6-7 years ago, I put 40% take rates for residential, 45 for biz, and 60 for gov. Well, today we're achieving 65% plus in our residential. We're getting almost all the businesses. Governmental, we get the cities, we get the schools, we get the counties, we get the state, and that's changing the entire ecosystem. And then education, wow, that's where we bring it home. So the result is that we win. We win in all these areas in a diversified manner. And if I don't get this in, I'm going to get in trouble.
The moat.
We create a moat. And what that means
the moat
is we're serving everything. And with that moat means the big companies who are much better capitalized than us can't come in and take anything because it's our town and they're guests in our town.
So you know, let's give him a big round of applause. Like, continuing to crush it. Well done. Thanks, sir. So this, this was, what's on the right side there is basically the conversation you and I had. I remember us having this conversation 2 summers ago, right? Where you said to me, my vision for a business is I have to be everything to everyone in the community. Res, biz, government. And that's really been, I guess, the essence of our partnership, right?
Absolutely.
And building this moat. Now, I understand, like you said, you're in everything that we do. In fact, if we go back to the last slide, SmartBiz or SmartTown was your vision for children. It's now out there being rolled like crazy. So I understand that you rolled out an important first town, right?
Yes. Our small town of
Imperial,
Nebraska.
Right. Imperial, Nebraska, not Lincoln,
yes.
But Imperial was where you started, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what's the impact on a small town like Imperial?
Well, what we're doing, and it just rolled out, yep. But it was fun to see. I could just be mobile. On my cell phone, on my laptop, it connects everywhere. So then you can learn, you can work, and it creates a different environment and a different structure. We're launching our MVNO, our cable, or our cell solution shortly. And when all this is together, again, it's our town.
Right. That
the other carriers are guests in.
Right, and you in essence are going to basically have, because these are all fiber, basically small cells, the service you're going to get from your MVNO on SmartTown is radically better than anyone else is going to have in that town.
Yes, and we start in a small town,
right.
And then our largest community is Lincoln.
Right.
And we have about 80,000 routers that are all Calix.
Right.
We have to upgrade a few of them. which you appreciate.
Yes, which we, by the way, the GigaSpire install was something, or GigaCenter upgrade was what we talked about, right?
And so we're doing that. But then we're also pressing the business, the SmartBiz. My wife's grocery store, she's here, really the co-founder. She funded me for like 7 years. I didn't take a salary. But anyway.
She let him eat free at the grocery store.
Yeah, there you go. But she was gracious enough. First we did it in Lincoln, the SmartBiz, then in Imperial. And then what I'm really excited about is in a couple of her stores in eastern Colorado where we don't have fiber is off-net.
Right.
And once we crack that off-net, wow.
Yeah, and on the Smart Business solution, that's something yourself and others have asked us for, is that if you go multi-location, I want to have the ability to do off-net, which we're going to be doing.
Excellent.
So let's give Brad a big round of applause. Thank you, sir, for your innovation. Well done. Remember how we talked about take rates? Look at these numbers, 65, 75, 85, 90. It's about dominating that community. And as you heard at the heart of it was actually doing great things for the communities that you serve. And so through that inspiration, one of the things that came up recently is Scott Hendricks from Tom Bigby. He actually asked us, he said, look, we just rolled it out. You're going to hear his story in a moment. And he said, we rolled out SmartTown across our communities. We've done some of the things that we've talked about, which is subscriber roaming and covering the football field. But back to that story about that ambulance driver, he goes, we have a huge number of customers in our rural markets where, you know what, there's no cell phone coverage. And I'd really like if you would do something to help us with the first responders. Because it's not like the first responders are getting rich, right? They're a community service, and it's great for us as a company to help them. So what we've decided to do is that SmartTown is now part of your license at no incremental cost for all first responders. So you can go and sit down with your mayor and have that conversation and say, let's make it great. And that inspiration comes from you. I can't thank you enough for actually helping us understand how we should be doing things better. And this is going to change communities. This changes lives. So be proud of that, because you're the ones who inspired us to do it every day. So thank you for the inspiration. Now there's a couple other ones. So Mike from Neiman would never stop harassing me about Wi-Fi for the farm. So I don't know if he's here, because I haven't seen him yet. But he would always talk about Wi-Fi for the farm, Wi-Fi for the farm. Michael, I need you to build me that outdoor router, right? So we did that. We gave him a bunch of really great ones. Goes in the Arctic, goes in a desert. But the other thing is then he said, well, that's really great, but it's not good enough. I also want one that goes really far. So we're about to launch a new GigaSpire that actually has 1.5 mile reach. So it is an omnidirectional. I would encourage you not to stand too close to it if you want to have children in the future. They tell me that's not actually true, but I don't care. I'm not standing close to it. But it's 120 degrees, which means that let's take that farm. I can now put 3 of them around the farm, and I can shoot out, and I'm covering 1.5 miles square. That's a great reach. And then I can extend it by adding hops, right? And where does it go long term? In 2025, we'll add a LoRa radio on it so that you can actually do 10-mile reach on IoT scenarios in low bandwidth. So that becomes really interesting in 2025 when you say, hey, you know what? If I want to go flip a switch on an irrigation unit, I can do that 10 miles out. And so it's that kind of innovation that you bring towards us to help us change communities. And that's going to be great. You shoot that down the football field, you shoot it all over the place, all kinds of great scenarios. And the great thing is you're not buying another technology, you're not IT managing it, you're just extending it as part of your platform. It's a huge step forward. And where do we go long term? Again, I'm sharing where we're going in 2025 because I want you to understand how big this is. This is the power of disruptions. What we can do is together completely change markets, and we're going to do what we've always wanted to do with SmartTown in the long term, which is bring you together as alliances so that you can partner with each other and start roaming on each other's networks in the 2025 time frame. So this, I want you to understand what's possible, because where we're going is big, and that's all because of you. So well done. You know, let's give yourself another round of applause for your communities. It's like really inspiring.